Another important match was about to begin. The air carried a sense of excitement, even though the setting was just the living room of a modest house. In the boy's imagination, however, that space transformed into a gigantic stadium, packed with people, banners waving, lights shining, and cameras flashing to capture every movement. The teams lined up on the field, although in reality, it was just him, his ball, and the furniture scattered around the room that served as obstacles. To the boy's heart, none of that mattered. The crowd roared in his ears, invisible yet real, cheering as the boy made his entrance. He was not just another child playing. He was a hero in cleats, a prodigy destined to score the winning goal in the most important championship of all time. The people chanted his name, clapping and whistling as if the entire world had gathered to see him play. His small chest swelled with pride, his eyes shone with determination, and the ball at his feet seemed like an extension of his body, obeying his every command. The match began. The referee's whistle, imagined but powerful, echoed in his mind. The boy charged forward, controlling the ball with swift touches, dodging furniture legs that, in his imagination, became strong defenders ready to tackle him. He dribbled past one opponent, spun around another, and managed to escape a hard foul that would have brought him down if not for his agility. His feet glided across the floor with grace, faster and more precise than ever before. The crowd exploded in joy with every move he made, chanting louder and louder, as though urging him toward victory. He left the defender behind, that stubborn obstacle now nothing more than a memory. The goal was clear ahead. His heart pounded inside his chest, echoing like a drum. The goalkeeper stood firm, tall, intimidating, larger than life. But the boy did not hesitate. He drew in a deep breath, steadied his body, and prepared for the final strike. He was face to face with destiny. His right leg swung back, muscles tightening, ready to release all his strength into that one decisive kick. He imagined the ball flying, cutting through the air, unstoppable, until it shook the net. His soul was on fire. He kicked, he shot, but before the ball could roll far, reality burst into the scene. A voice cut through his dream like a sharp blade. "Boy, how many times have I told you not to play soccer inside the house? How many times? Now swallow those tears. Swallow them because men don't cry." The boy froze. The stadium vanished, the cheering crowd disappeared, and the glorious match crumbled into the plain, ordinary living room. His father stood before him, stern eyes fixed on him, arms crossed in disapproval. The boy looked at him, confused, heart shrinking as though someone had punctured it with a needle. Tears welled up in his eyes, heavy, hot, desperate to fall. But his father's words echoed in his ears, words he had heard before, many times, but never truly absorbed until that exact moment. Men don't cry. Men don't show weakness. Men swallow their tears. The boy clenched his jaw, tried to swallow his saliva, gulped dry, and pressed his lips together. He didn't understand fully, but he wanted to. He wanted to learn. He wanted to master this strange command, this ability to hold back what his body and heart so desperately wanted to release. He was just a boy, but he admired his father deeply. Everything inside him longed to make his father proud, to prove himself worthy of respect, to be strong enough to meet the expectations placed upon him. If his father said men don't cry, then he would learn not to cry. If his father commanded him to swallow his tears, then he would swallow them. That was how things worked. That was what being a man meant. The boy focused with all his strength. He concentrated as though the task was a difficult game to be won. He practiced silently, again and again, each time forcing his tears inward instead of letting them escape. And with time, he succeeded. The tears no longer fell. His eyes no longer betrayed his emotions. He cried only on the inside, hidden away where no one could ever see. No one ever knew. From that day on, after his father's stern command, something within the boy shifted. The door that once allowed tears to flow shut tight, locked from the inside. Nothing, no pain, no sadness, no disappointment, seemed strong enough to open it again. His tears stayed buried deep within him, invisible, untouched, unreleased. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Not a single drop of salty water rolled down his cheeks. Not even when he scraped his knees on the pavement, not when he lost a toy, not even when loneliness crept into his nights. He kept it all hidden, all locked away. And so, slowly, quietly, he became an ocean inside. It was an ocean unseen by others, silent on the outside, but vast and endless within. The waves crashed loudly, though only he could hear them. Sometimes his mother called from the kitchen, unaware of the storm raging in her son's chest. "Son, come eat," she would say, hearing the noises within him, mistaking them for hunger. She would quickly prepare him a snack, place it before him, and watch as he ate. He swallowed the food obediently, but along with it he swallowed his tears, forcing them deeper into that inner ocean. Each bite carried with it the weight of unspoken sadness, each gulp another layer of pain pushed further down. The ocean inside him grew stormier. The waves were violent, rising and crashing without end. Emotions collided within him like a maremoto, a tidal wave with no shore to reach. Yet on the outside, he smiled. He smiled so often that no one suspected the storm. But his smile was hollow. It was dry, empty, silly in a way that felt wrong even to him. He smiled because that was what people expected. He smiled to hide what he could not show. Never a tear escaped. Never a trace of pain slipped through. Men don't cry, after all. Men endure. Each time he swallowed his feelings, they sank deeper into the depths of his inner ocean. They drowned there, heavy and unresolved, each one lost to the abyss. His father's words had become law, and he obeyed without question. The cost, however, was invisible to all but him. Then one day, his sister approached, her face pale and her eyes wet. "Grandma is gone," she whispered. Her voice trembled, carrying the weight of loss. The boy's chest tightened. His grandmother, the one who always slipped him candy, who always hugged him longer than anyone else, who always told him stories before bed. She was gone. The boy felt his heart twist, felt the tears burning behind his eyes, begging to be released. But he remembered. Men don't cry. He swallowed once more, forcing the tears down into the ocean, where they sank and vanished. His father looked at his sister and shook his head. "Poor thing, she doesn't know how to swallow her tears." The boy's sister cried loudly. She let the sobs escape, shaking her small body, letting rivers flow down her cheeks. She cried until her chest felt lighter, until she could finally breathe again. Then, wiping her eyes, she smiled faintly and said, "Ah, what a relief." She didn't care about swallowing her tears. She allowed them to exist, to enter, and then leave. She let the pain come. She let the pain go. And because of that, she remained a happy little girl. She knew instinctively what her brother had not learned. Tears were not weakness, they were release. The boy watched her, torn between confusion and envy. He wanted that relief, but the lesson had been carved too deeply into him. He stayed silent. Life went on. One day, while running across the house, he stubbed his little toe against the sharp edge of a table leg. The pain was sudden and intense, shooting up his body like fire. He wanted to scream, to cry, to let it out. The tears rose quickly, desperate to escape. But they carried with them not just the pain of the toe, but years of pain, of swallowed sorrows, of drowned emotions. For a moment, the dam cracked. He cried. He cried hard, tears streaming down his face, unstoppable, each drop carrying with it the weight of countless uncried moments. It wasn't just the toe. It was every hurt, every silence, every swallowed sob finally finding its way out. "Dad," he whispered later, after the storm had passed. His eyes were red, but his heart felt strangely light, as though he had found something precious. "Dad, I've learned something. I've learned a lot from this story of swallowing tears. And when I can, I want to teach others what I discovered." His father looked at him, startled by the seriousness in his son's voice. "You can cry, Dad," the boy said softly. "It will make you feel better." For the first time, his father's eyes glistened.